Down podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, 13 is a ditty, but 14 will be doodads.
So we're on 16.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, all right. Did more of them than I thought, I guess.
We're at our sweet 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a special moment.
You forgot your tiara. You don't have your dress on.
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm going to throw a big fit like that old show, my Super Sweet 16. And I'm going to be heartbroken.
I remember that show.
The world's over because my...
A lot of bratty kids on there, right?
Yeah. It was always little rich girls.
Yeah, that's what helped the show, having somebody have an extravagant
ridiculously extravagant, and
they'd
throw big fits if like their friend had a dress on that they didn't want their friend to wear.
Yeah, I saw, what did I see? This girl, she was brought out. They rented out like half of this palace, and she was brought out by these huge, jacked up guys in like tiger leotards and stuff, and she was on this throne that they were all carrying out, you know,
man.
Animals and people just throwing stuff everywhere because you made it to 16.
It's unbelievable.
You made it to 16.
What better way to make
Is that a
yourself
rite of
feel
passage,
like
right?
entitled and
yeah,
special and all that.
Maybe that's another rite of passage, right?
Oh, is it?
I guess so. Making it to 16
into the privileged, wealthy youth of television.
Listen, man, all life can be hard, okay? All life can be hard. Either way, we're on 16, right? Congratulations.
Yes.
To you, Brian.
Ah.
To you. Okay, first things first. As usual, very quick, we have the intercept.org. I do believe so. Oh, no, wait. Wow. This is how quick I forget things. Yeah. Well, it's firstlook.org, and then it brings you to the portal of The Intercept. This site has full of different news articles. We mentioned it before. It's a nice place to get a lot of information, whether it has to do with geopolitical issues, international foreign affairs issues, things going on here in the States. A lot of times they'll cover like a lot of different news outlets. They'll cover like cultural movements, things like that, frustrations that are kind of in the spotlight, which as of recently is a lot of police brutality and it seems
a lot of that going on.
A lot of that going on, yeah. And then which I think pulls right behind it a second almost movement of a lot of like civil liberties and civil rights kind of conversation. So if you're into all that, this is one site that will definitely you can add to your arsenal of websites that you get information from, because it's got a lot of good stuff on there. I would definitely check them out. Firstlook.org. Glenn Greenwald, Jeremy Scahill. So two very credible journalists that set this up, that are working on this and really are just making it bigger. And the other thing, too, you saw that I sent you that thing about Vice?
Yes.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh, yes.
That's very big.
It's awesome. I'm really getting into Vice, man. I love their documentaries.
Yeah, they have a ton of stuff.
Stuff.
They have the half hour or 40-minute episodes that they did on HBO. They have, I think, season 1 and 2 on there. You can watch those.
Yeah, on
those
YouTube.
Are done really well. And then, if you go on there, they also have a ton of other different videos. But the ones that they did for HBO were pretty awesome, because they dealt with subjects that are a little more on like a bigger scale, And,
right.
What was one of them? One of them was really neat, where they talked about how California is dealing with the water shortage, but Vice covered the Orthodox religious community and how they deal with it, and all they're doing is praying the rain to come. It was a really neat.
Oh, that fancy
awesome.
jazz.
You might find that soon. It's pretty neat.
Yeah,
that was a good one. It definitely, without doing it to their face, you can tell it's pointing fun at like, you think this is gonna get you rain?
No, yeah. That kind of style reminds me of another documentary guy that I love. I don't know if you've seen him. He's a British guy, Louis Theroux.
I've heard the name.
I forget how to do his last name. Tall guy, looks like he could maybe be in the Beatles.
Really, Louis Theroux. I've heard the name before. What
He's-
documentary are you talking about?
Oh, he just his documentary style in general. He does one that I just watched on Christian evangelism, and there's a lot of that. A lot of really like he'll ask questions, but in a way that kind of like through the questions adds his criticism in like a passive, sort of like
Passive aggressive way.
kind of passive aggressive,
Yeah.
kind of trolling a little bit, but at the same time, it's like he kind of helps bring it right out into the open how ridiculous some people are.
Yeah, he
Like-
sets up a good point.
Exactly. Like there's this one lady that's like ranting and raving about like their big greeting, I guess, over it's this place in Texas. She's like, angels on your body, and she believes that she can call God to bring angels down and protect somebody and protect herself.
Whoa.
So that's her like greeting, angels on your body.
Angels on your
just
body.
like one prayer and God will have angels defending and protecting you. And she has this like vial of stuff she pours on her car too.
Whoa.
That like
Is she carrying
protects
around
her
a cup
car.
so you can tip her too while she
Well, that's the thing.
she making money off of this.
Well, she works for like an evangelist place, but I'm sure they take donations.
So she has her
One
own.
of those huge ones, like the stadium televangelism.
Oh God.
I'm gonna push your forehead, and the power of God will send you to the ground, and you're
Oh my
gonna
gracious.
be instantly healed of all your problems.
I've always been amazed by that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Who's the guy that has the football arena of churches? I think he's out of Texas. Huge arena, and he's always on TV.
Joel Osteen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That guy.
That place is
I just get
huge.
this snaky vibe off of him too. He's always got this smirk going, and he's
get
like
it-
he just knows. He just knows. I'm filthy rich doing this. Look at me.
Yeah, I get
I'm
it.
loaded.
You're right. I get snaky just with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, like they're
Just like here, come into this building, all 20,000 of you, and let me let you hear what I have to say because you obviously can't do it on your own. So let me show you.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm the medium between the great and the peasants.
Oh, of course.
That's-
Yeah, they're
that's a
right on
weird
that
thing with me.
pedestal, and
Yeah.
I feel like they're
I'm
like
the bridge. You're not the
it's
fucking.
just
You're not
like-
the bridge. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're gonna channel God through them, like the stuff, the hilarious stuff where they're like hitting someone.
Oh,
with their
yeah.
the thing where the guy that hits people with his coat. They're like, have you
Oh, I
seen
haven't
that?
seen that one, no.
They're like it's like a line of people. Whole big line of people line up, and he's just rapid fire. They're walking by him, and he hits everybody with his coat as they're walking by him.
Oh my God.
Like every person, and fucking like that. Some of them fall over when the coat hits them, and that's like how he hits them with the Lord's power.
It's the equivalent to the hand on the forehead.
Yeah, it's like that.
I got you.
Some guys, there's like videos of some guys though that'll stand there and they'll just be like, "And the power of God," and then like people in the crowd will just start falling over when he puts his hand up, like in
Whoa.
the seats. They'll like,
Oh my
fall
God.
over and stuff and be all like shockwaves.
It's like the Kung Fu Master, The Kung Fu Master does this, and the people just fly.
There's actually an awesome video on YouTube of someone matching up Street Fighter noises and effects to these guys doing this stuff. It's awesome.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Well, yeah. It's
looks like a scene out of the
sonic
Matrix.
boom. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Redonkulous. Okay, so the intercept. Yep. Okay, there it is. Other thing too. If you want to talk about radical religious arenas and street fighting kung fu masters, and you don't know where to put it, you go to podbean.com.
Oh, what a segue, dude.
Which is exactly what we did and what we do. We use podbean.com to help us put up our podcast. And the nice thing about it is that you can get a bare bone free membership, let you have an RSS feed, which lets you put it on iTunes, which then becomes probably one of the most convenient things for people to be able to listen and download and subscribe to your podcast channel. Because everybody uses iTunes, right? Especially on your phone. But the other thing, too, is that the site also allows you to visit the site. You can make a mobile version, and then you can just download the episodes from there whenever you make them. The free one, I think, has about 50 megabytes of memory in it. So if you do a 45-minute episode like ours and you convert it in the right way, you can bring it down to about 20 megabytes. That's how big ours are. So we're able to put up 2 episodes. But if you just do a 10 or 15 or even 20-minute podcast, just fly through it, and I bet you could probably at least fit 5, maybe 6 different episodes. So for a free service, they give you a decent amount.
It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is free, so
it is free.
Completely worth it, actually.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that expensive to bump up the memory where you can put videos and all that. And to me, that's kind of the best way to do it. And once we get rolling a little more, maybe that'll be an option, because it is nice to have everything in one place. Because right now I have links to like old archives and then to the YouTube site where you can watch the podcast opposed to listen to it too. So check it out, podbean.com. Spew out everything you got to spew. Even if no one hears it, you have a voice.
That's right.
You deserve to speak it. So that's it.
There you
The
go.
intercept right there. Let's see. Oh, okay. I need to back up because a couple episodes ago, wanted to showcase Plini again. Totally screwed that up. Now we're not going to screw it up because this puppy is here on the computer, ready to rock and roll with no skips. So real quick, Plini. This was a pretty much kind of a one-man band. This guy wrote all the music, but I think he's got a lot of different friends who come in and sit in on drums and bass and things like that, and they all have their own groups
studio
too.
guys.
Mm-hmm. Or just
people to come in, guest on the albums and stuff.
It's like a pool of close musician friends.
It's like a deer hunter.
Yeah, and like a third of them all are in different bands, and then they just appear on each other's. And it's weird because they all somewhat have the same similarity in sound too.
Oh, that's good. So they work well together.
Yeah, which is this kind of fusion-y, heavy kind of sound, and it's all instrumental too. That none of them have singers in their groups. But I wanted to showcase this just because the guy's been working on like a trilogy EP thing, where the first EP was an EP called Other Things, the second was Sweet Nothings, and then the end of everything is the last one that he just released, I think at the beginning of March. I think it was March 11th maybe. And so it's just kind of the end of the trilogy of all these EPs, and each EP has about 3 or 4 songs on it, and I really, really like it. So I'll crank it now, and I'll start it from the second EP, because I think the last time I played them, I only played the first EP. And then it'll run through and actually hit get to the last 3 songs, which is the newest one.
Nice. There we go.
So that's it.
So we'll get that going.
So Plini, I'll put up some links so people can listen to it, because all of them really need to get some credit on this, because I think it's really good music. And if you're if you know anything about drummers and things like that, and just different artists. Who was it? Marco Miniman. Marco Miniman is the drummer on the last.
He's awesome
on the last EP. Yeah, and you can tell. You can tell he got on there.
Guy's a boss.
I said Mike Mangini last time, and that's not who it is.
Marco
Miniman.
Marco Miniman drummed for Necrophagist.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's awesome.
He can do everything.
Super awesome. All right, Umbro.
All right.
Umbro. So you're a fan of English soccer, huh?
Of course. The biggest.
Man United.
Yeah.
Man City. Liverpool.
What?
You don't know any
what
of
he
those,
said.
Yeah. It's okay.
I just like the shirt.
I just like the shirt. It keeps me warm on a brisk spring day.
I like the collar.
Lets me breathe.
Yeah.
Because I sweat a lot.
Because it is pretty warm out today.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
75 degrees.
It's beautiful.
Last I checked.
Yeah, it's so nice out there. We're inside with the computers.
It's actually summer.
I know. 67 or so?
Oh, it was 75 last time I checked.
Oh, good. Either way, I'm very, very happy that it's here. My mood is up. I'm thinking of all the things I'm going to get to do. I feel like you see people more often, too, when the weather gets better.
Yeah, because people go outside more.
Yeah, they go out, and it's a really easy excuse to get together to say, hey, let me make some dinner, some barbecue, and I'll have a fire and let's hang out.
Yeah, let's go outside.
Yeah, it's just easier and you can have more people
I like the outdoor
over.
barbecue scene.
Oh, I love it. I like just the outdoor, just being outdoors, have a little music.
Yep.
Have some fire. That was like my biggest thing last year. Just love
that was fun.
Having people over.
Every time we did that, I really enjoyed it.
I love it too because I think the spotlight is on a timer now, so it shuts off at 11. Do you remember the spotlight?
Yeah, I do. I do, kind of.
It's off at 11, so it's like pitch black out back
now. Yeah.
Love it.
And then it's just the fire and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Good stuff.
I can't wait. So what's up? Hit me up with something new for the spring.
So what's up? What's up? Right before I headed over here,
You got into an accident.
I'm buzzing on Thrones right now, buddy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just watched the first episode of season 5 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, wait, what? You said you saw how many episodes?
First episode.
Oh, the first episode.
The first
yeah.
one just aired yesterday, and I watched it
Sunday,
today.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Oh,
So without spoiling too much, what did you think about?
I thought it was a great start to the season. I'm very, very happy that one of my favorite side characters in the books, Stannis Baratheon. I am very happy with what they're doing so far with his character in this first episode. I thought it ended on a very serious note, and you can tell they're building up plenty for this season.
Baratheon.
Yeah, that's a good name, huh?
Has
good
he
last
been,
name.
Has he been in the Has he been in the series since the beginning?
He came in on season 2 and book 2 in line with it. But I honestly didn't like what they did with his character for the show for the first couple seasons. But just judging by how he was in this last episode, in this new episode, it seems like they're taking him in more the right direction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little more in command, I feel like.
Yeah, everybody's really, really complex in this story, right?
Oh, yeah, everybody's their own thing. He's, like, obsessed with law. He's really straightforward, to the point, which is, in my opinion, a breath of fresh air when you've got all these snakes in the political game of that show.
Mm-hmm.
He's like this dude that's just like, no, I am straightforward, to the point. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. I say so. That's it.
Yeah, he doesn't let down to kind of where his goals are, or like where he wants to bring the atmosphere, whether it's like...
Oh, yeah, he's got a very straightforward mindset. Yeah, without giving too much away. I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't seen it.
Season 5, a 100%.
With good reason.
Yeah, you think
Top-notch actors, top-notch story, man. That show's the beast of TV. It's the best thing on TV.
The beast of TV. It's the best thing on TV, huh?
I'm saying that right now. Walking Dead might come close numbers-wise, but nothing else. Yeah. Better Call Saul might. Breaking Bad was the other one that was like...
Yeah,
right up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was right up there with Game of Thrones for me. But
season 1 got 97% for Daredevil.
Yes, I need to start watching that.
Yeah, which
I do.
I just randomly started watching that. It's not bad.
I really do want to check it out, especially because Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Episode 3, they're saying, is pretty much an episode of Law and Order. because
he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
he's got a partner. They're both up and coming attorneys and stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of good conversation in it. It's not just like I need to avenge this and avenge that, and you know, it can get a little goofy with like the superhero archetypes and kind of the lines that they feed them.
Well,
but this one's actually
if they make it too
well.
straight up, like
I smelt a little Gouda cheese in the second episode.
Little Gouda cheese?
I smelled a little Gouda cheese.
Little Robusto?
Yeah, little Robusto.
Robusto. That's what I had. Yeah. I've been eating that for 2 nights in a row right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Just pieces of it, or are you sprinkling it on something?
Thanks, Michael, by the way. I appreciate the guide that he gave me to come to that cheese.
He told you to try
that
one?
Yeah, because I mentioned Gouda, and he's like, give the Robusto a try. It's on sale, too.
Do you like any of the smoked one? The smoked Gouda that's like... there's one that's it's pretty soft. It almost looks like a little mozzarella ball. No, not the mozzarella ball. It's kind of like a dark orange one. It's in the cheddar bed on the bottom.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It's in wedges. It's like prepackaged, right?
Yep.
I haven't tried that yet.
But
I will try it.
That one's good.
I will try it.
It's a little
I'm
cheaper,
friendly with
definitely.
Gouda. Me and Gouda are on good terms, I'd say. Not compared to Brie.
Brie. Well, you had a really crazy
I
Brie,
had that
think.
cave Brie. Oh, man. Dude, that stuck in my mouth for like an hour and a half.
I'm sure it did, man.
It was just...
And that's an extreme Brie.
That's...
Because like all cheeses, they run a huge spectrum of taste, you know,
yeah, exactly.
to nothing to way too much, you know.
Yeah, and that ended up being, at first I thought it was kind of all right, but then like the aftertaste and stuff, I was like, no, I just couldn't shake it. I was pounding water and stuff, and I just couldn't lose it. But the Robusto, that's up my alley. I've been having it on crackers.
Where's the Robusto from? Do you remember? What country?
I gotta say Italy. I gotta say that's Italian.
Robusto. Oh.
Let's face it. You hold your hand like this and go Robusto.
Robusto.
That's Italian.
Fuck, I can't remember. I want to say it's either going to be between Italy or Spain.
Yeah, one of the two. But I think it's Italy. I think I remember Mike actually saying that it's Italian too.
Oh, okay, good.
So I think we had a conversation about the hand movement when you're Italian. You got to do this and talk. Yeah, you got to shake your hand a lot. But yeah, Game of Thrones, awesome. Everybody should check it out. Watch it.
Yeah, go get
Very
it.
complex story, but once you get the handle on some of the characters, you're gonna love it. Fall in love with it. It'll break your heart, but you'll still keep coming back to it.
Well, you might get it a little easier too if you give yourself the time to read it too. Because you've read them.
The books. I've read through the books twice now.
Yeah.
That's just how good they are. And yeah, that does give you a better handle on it. And the books have even more characters in it.
Did you ever get into the other similar kind of time like period piece fantasy stories like the Lord of the Rings? Almost feels like it's not the same universe, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you mean like that fantasy setting?
Fantasy, almost medieval-esque.
Yeah, I like the Lord of the Rings. But the thing with the Lord of the Rings, not dissing it, because
you said you read it or you watched the movies?
I watched the movies and I've read most of the Lord of the Rings. So I've been working on actually reading the books after starting with the movies. But the thing with the Lord of the Rings is it's a little more like I'm not like full respect to J.R.R. Tolkien because he created the fantasy genre with that book.
Of course.
That series of books, but I feel like it's a little bit more straightforward. Like, it's these guys are clearly the good guys. Sauron's clearly this totally evil guy with not a shred of anything in him.
Yeah,
and it's just too black and white for me, compared to Game of Thrones, where every single character is gray. The summer, it's all gray areas. Nobody is wholly evil, and nobody is wholly good. Except for maybe Ramsay Snow, but that's a separate character. That's one of the only black characters in that series, like full blown evil hearted, just straight up cold motherfuckers.
No compromise.
Yeah, but almost all the characters have redeeming qualities and not so redeeming qualities. Some characters are darker shades of gray than others, I'd say. Other characters are the obviously mostly light and good and heroic types, but even they have flaws. That's what I love about it. I feel like it's just so much more real.
Yeah,
the characters are so much more human.
Well, that's why we had this conversation about Breaking Bad too, where that's half, if not most, of the joy is that you get confused on whether you're rooting for a bad person or a good person.
Exactly,
which is nice because it's. There's so many different aspects to a situation that you can start off wanting to do good things, but you have to do bad things to continue the good act.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Walter White is
just
Walter, such an interesting character. He's so good.
You could say the core of it was his family, but then something took over the animosity of having his life just ripped underneath him like a rug. You know what I mean? From what his partner did and what his old love interest did.
Yeah.
So something about that grabbed on to the initial intent of no, I need to save my family.
Yeah.
Here's an extreme way to do it.
But and it's almost like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and then eventually his ego just totally took over and was no, I am Heisenberg. I am this fucking.
Which can happen to anyone.
God.
That's why it's so good, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a real deal. And with Game of Thrones, the
nature of how we can
so
think.
much more. Game of Thrones is so much. Nobody's safe on that show. Yeah. That's what I love about it too. Yeah. It's so real that the good guys don't always win. The people who do have the right cause and have the right ideas and a good purpose, oftentimes get fucking backstabbed and shit on by the dirty players, and that's just so much more real for me rather than. When you watch a superhero movie, the good guy is going to get the bad guy in the end, and that's going to be it,
It's scary how it's it does parallel like real life.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
because
It's like
they talked about the comparison of this and how like the political landscape works. You know, whether it's in your local town or obviously even more so once it gets bigger. You know, you go in with good intentions and then you realize behind every curtain there's just a knife getting sharpened, just ready for you.
oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Everybody's
For the
ready to play
knife's-
dirty.
Yeah, for the knife's own gain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a
Completely
scary
cutthroat.
world, man.
Yeah, completely cutthroat.
Yeah, that was the other one. It was between that. Oh fuck! Oh, I can't remember. I lost the thought. Yeah, but just a lot of comparisons to just how we can treat each other in environments where, you know, leverage is everything.
Yeah.
You know, leverage is everything, influences everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. That influence and like just knowing the players that are on the field too, and kind of guessing what their interests will be. If you can kind of provide that interest for them, then you've got a new ally. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you find common cause through that. But then that's the whole other question of who's actually a player in the political game and who's just a pawn for these couple other players.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like there's different tiers of players where some of them are pretty competent,
Yep.
but they're still kind of getting their strings pulled. You know,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy.
No,
the layers
absolutely.
and everything of the politics is just
Yeah. You think about it, and it's just how. What's the makeup of the person that can really bear doing this? That wants to do this, you
right,
know?
right.
Yeah.
Because that's something that like you're never safe, really.
Yeah,
and
you're
you're
never
always
safe.
just thinking about it. Who's doing this? Who's doing that? It can make you an extremely paranoid person.
Super paranoid. I
Like-
can't imagine.
And actually, we'll be seeing more of this in this new season, based on the books.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting. You really see that paranoia weigh down on a certain person.
Yeah, they say that that's a big thing that happens with just in politics, but people that are wealthy. You know, when you get past a certain bracket of, you know, financial comfort, it's like paranoia can sit in because
Yeah.
there's so much now to have to navigate through, record, remember, hold on to. You're making new types of associates that you question because now you're making them, but you didn't have them before.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like, there's one guy on the show, Lord Baelish. He is just like he takes like such a scorched earth mentality of it. Like, he's just straight up like, yeah, gold. Like, gold can sometimes win people over. You can win them over with all of this to keep them quiet, but a knife to their fucking throat is going to keep them quiet from your business forever.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like he's just like the embodiment of that cutthroat. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he doesn't want to have to worry about this person or that person from one of his old schemes blabbering. So
Yeah. Which
you
happens.
just kill him. So
Yeah.
it's like you leave a trail of bodies in your wake along this way just for what? To have the seat of power? And then have everybody wanting you off that seat of power? It's like, it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
like a crazy cycle that...
And it happens today.
Just-
I mean, it's, you know.
Oh, yeah, the parallels to today's politics, big time. I mean, people aren't getting their throats cut. But...
Well, I mean, you know, we're not just talking about the United States. You know,
Well, yeah, I'm thinking the United States, but...
You
well,
have-
Russia.
You have Russia. You have
Got that poor opposer to Putin who just got shot.
Yeah, I mean, you have certain countries in the Middle East, even Central and South America, you know, where you can, to a friggin' 10th degree, try to poison someone out of office. You know, people said that, fuck, I wish I could remember his name. The president before this president in Venezuela, you know, they were saying that he was on his deathbed and that there was a potential that he may have been poisoned, you know? And to paper trail that, it's like, well, where did that come from? Why did that? You know, it's a whole
Oh,
universe
yeah,
in
exactly.
itself of,
Who
of,
was
from
in
the,
on the
of
poison?
the intention, you
Where
know?
was the poison gotten from?
Yeah.
Who made it? Who brought it into the country?
Which brings up this thing that I've been trying to read up on, which is the petrodollar, the petroleum dollar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and I was having a conversation with somebody at work about this, And I've always wondered this, and he kind of laid it out in a simple form, which I still barely understood, and there probably isn't really a simple form for it, but it kind of has to do with the gold standards in the 70s, and then how they made, when they found I'm going to fuck this all up, when they found a lot of these oil reserves in certain areas, in Saudi Arabia, they made it so that you could only buy oil with the dollar, so that the United States could only...
Yeah, it's like the world's reserve currency.
Yeah.
And that you need the dollar to do this.
Yeah, you flash forward, because there's something called OPEC that watches over the regulations of it all.
Yeah.
And if there's an abundance of oil, OPEC has less to say on its regulations, on how much it is per barrel and then per gallon, and things like that.
Yeah, it turns into more of a free market.
Yeah. So, I guess. And that's the big conversation that people are having with, is it Iraq or Iran? Either way, supposedly that was the big thing with Saddam Hussein. He wanted to take off he wanted to go back to the euro. Some countries want to go back to the euro.
Oh yeah, people were talking about wanting to ditch the dollar.
Yeah.
I've even heard China and Russia talking about how they...
Yeah, China and Russia. I just saw something on Russia, too, wants to get rid of the petrodollar.
And the scary thing, too, is...
and I don't think people realize that's a driving force to war.
That's a huge,
and you spice it up with the very convenient, and it is legitimate in a sense, of the blanket of terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
But if you realize that because of what happened in the 70s and this huge power move that put a lot of economics against the wall, and you realize that your brother went over there and got shot in the face over the idea that we're fighting over how we pay for oil, that would piss off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like they don't want them pissed off in that way. They want them pissed off at a boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to prop something up so that the real underlining issue can just go right underneath their feet.
Yeah, exactly, and use the media to fucking project that image.
Because the second you tell someone that it's like, oh, war is about oil, it's hard to really kind of break it down and explain it, or people don't really want to. People just don't really want to believe you. They want to believe that it's like, no, it's because there's actual bad people.
They want it to be just bad. Then there are bad people. Yeah. There are psychotic assholes out there.
There are bad people, and even the bad people that we feel are bad, you can question, why are they bad,
Yeah.
It's all critical thinking,
Yeah, and see, here's the really scary thing.
And it's all about history, too.
If China and Russia, or even let's say China, because Russia's a bunch of assholes. Let's say China gets off the dollar as the world reserve currency. All of a sudden, all these dollars that, say, America owes to China, the billions or trillions that are owed to China, all of a sudden China's going to be like, well, the dollar just dropped way down in value. I don't think we really want you to pay us back in dollars. We want you to pay us back in something that makes more sense for the world now, without you as the top, without the dollar on the top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're going to be like, give us gold, give us tangible assets instead, and that's where we're going to get hit really hard, because we don't have enough assets like that to cover all the dollars that we've borrowed from them.
Oh yeah.
And that's a war right there. There
totally.
It is. And we're going to have to default on the debt.
That's just one country. I mean, how we've put so many other smaller countries in certain types of debt,
right.
is huge. It's just like it's gonna be a domino effect. It sounds like where if people stop using it, it's
That's the thing to be scared of.
It is, and this is why I say it's like the system has its back against the wall, because it's scary, so we have to propel the system to keep going. And how do we do that in the most extreme way of kind of like our livelihood? Like the whole system, it feeds our livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, if you really think about it, you know, where all the money goes into, all the different avenues when it comes from oil, you know, and how it works. It's like, this is why you get the United States knocking on the door saying, listen, if you change to euros, this is what's going to happen to your country.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, we've got to take these extensive measures to make sure that the dollar is still on top.
It's almost like they propped up the military as the guard dog for the person who is knocking on every door saying, you're still paying with the dollar, right? You're still paying with the dollar, right? And the guy that's knocking on the door actually made it so that you have to pay for the dollar.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to, you're threatened, you know?
And
they knew, and we knew
look
that.
at Iraq,
Yeah, they knew that.
There was no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I'm sure Saddam probably would have loved to have some, but
yeah,
let's face it.
But I guess the reality of that is that, like, yeah, we don't want him to have those too.
Right.
And it's a hole, man. The whole thing is just
a mess,
such a big hole that comes down to something that, like, is it natural? You know,
I think it is.
It has to be,
because
right?
it's America doing what has to be done for us to stay on top. Because if we lose the dollar, every single American's quality of life is gonna go right into the shitter.
Yeah,
like
it's gonna change a lot.
It's gonna get a lot worse. People think gas prices and everything are bad right now.
So how do you
forget it?
Yeah, and it's funny because
unless we just go to war, but that could make things even worse too. Like
but how long does oil? You know, how long is it short-sighted to just think about oil? And I mean short-sighted in the sense of like 100 years, 50 years.
Well, yeah,
you know
that's
what
the
I mean?
thing too. I think what we just need to do is get the fuck off oil. Like,
I think a lot of people say that. And what is the alternative? What are the realistic alternatives? You know,
well,
that
there's
you can
the hydrogen-powered cars, which are pretty fucking incredible. They're still working on making them cheaper, more affordable for the masses to be able to drive on them. But hydrogen, I mean, it's just like hydrogen fuel cells that run water through them to run.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing for the environment with the hydrogen car, the only waste product from a hydrogen car is water. Because it just spits out like excess water out of the tailpipe or whatever.
Yeah.
So you just be pissing a little water out while you're driving every once in a while. Like,
but is that going to be the next war? Is the war going to be over water tables now?
Well, here's the thing. Hydrogen is one of the most abundant elements on the planet, and it's always going to be here. Mm-hmm. So it's not like oil, where oil is just like fossil fuel that can run out. Mm-hmm. So hydrogen is really like, it sounds like it's a good win for the people if it can happen. And but then at the same time, you've got the oil companies that don't want that to happen because that's their money.
Oh, yeah.
So they want to keep this going.
And it's like it would have to be...
If they keep it going, they're running it into the ground,
It would have to be a massive conversion, right? You know, it's like, if the
it'd
oil
be
companies
huge.
want to make money, they should invest in solar power and this and that. But, you know, from where we've gone from the beginning, you know, with with the gold standard and making these arrangements with Saudi Arabia, and it's like, how much work is it going to take for the new system of solar energy to be as profitable and efficient as this massive universe that we've made around oil, you know?
Right,
and petroleum. Like, it's massive. It's so big. It's so big that it feels like there's no reason to even bother trying.
Yeah,
you know, with the solar power, which I obviously think that there is.
Yeah, there is a reason to try, but it is a massive change that
I think is gonna, if it's going to happen, we're going to suffer either way. I think we're going to suffer whether people start getting onto the euro and it collapses and it forces the change in the types of energy and the amount of time that it's going to get the new energy systems up to par with how we efficiently run our houses, our daily business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time, and I think just the common person is going to take a huge hit until it gets to the level of like efficiency that we're on right now.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you know, oil is efficient in the sense of like, yeah, it makes things work and stuff like that, but because it is limited and because it has so much leverage in geopolitics, you know.
Yeah.
It a derivative of the whole thing is fucking violence and death, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we would be, you know, blowing each other away for sun, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, yeah. That the problem is, I think the real issue there with the oil companies is they're gonna want to keep oil going the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
that's their money, so they're gonna be a huge blockade in it, and also the transition would be very tough as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody drives cars on gas.
Yeah.
How do we get all of them to just stop doing that and all buy hydrogen cars?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unless it was like a massive law, but then you get into Congress. Just talking about the United States.
Yeah.
Then you get into Congress, and the
Well,
Republicans and whoever is backed by the oil companies are going to fight it to the death.
Yeah.
And everybody just butts heads, and nothing gets done.
Too many little microsystems are in this massive system, you know, that benefit from it.
Yeah,
so I can't imagine the resistance to it. And it must be that heavy for someone to say, and if the facts are true, that listen, you know, the Earth is going to be it's going to be temperamental, and we're clicking, you know, the time is ticking, and we're aiding that clock. And you know, our species is going to die out pretty much. If you end the whole spiel with that, the resistance to just that statement, if it's true, like even having any resistance to that statement at all, that's got to be such a, like I said, just a powerhouse of a system, because this weighs so much money, tons and tons tons of money,
so much.
And an intricate system that, yes, it will break down if you come off of oil. And it's just kind of one of those things where we're so reliant on it. You know, I was talking to a friend at work, and he's a huge history buff. He went to school for history, and, you know, I love listening to him talk. And,
nice. And
him and his friends, they used to just have a couple beers and geek out and say, like, okay, let's, you know, we're going to go over this one historic event, and we'll all go around and, you know, drink a beer before we say what would happen if, say, he used an example of, like, what if the Nazis invaded Turkey opposed to who they invaded first?
Oh, okay,
you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's how much they know about it. I mean, they're on. You know, he's that's on it with he's crazy.
Huh.
He's on it. So, you know, and that's kind of the thing that I want to talk to him about, and that I speculate. It's like, if we didn't make that huge move in the 60s and 70s to do this with oil, what would have been the alternative to how we keep our houses warm? You know, what was going to happen?
Right.
What can you speculate with what we know about the times and what people were working on? You know, like I feel like the world would run very different. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, possibly.
I mean, who knows?
I have no idea. It's all speculation, but that's kind of that's the fun of the game. Is if you know enough about the different avenues of what was going on in the times, you can be like, well, they would go this way, and then this would happen, and this person was involved with this person then, so I bet he would and she would say this and do this and go here, and, you know, shit like that. But
that's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's a ton of information, but but this whole topic is a ton of information, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's what makes the world turn.
I think part of the problem is how big the fucking government is. With all these micromanaged organizations.
Oh, yeah.
I just wish some of it was smaller, and I don't know. I know there's no real easy solution to the problem.
No.
But I just wish, like
so big.
What I was saying about how all that would have to go through Congress, and Congress is going to butt their heads because it's red versus blue team and there all day.
Oh, every time.
And it's just like, that bugs me. So can we get some of that a little more, you know, thinned out, thin the herd a little bit on our different subsections of the government?
And that's it. Thin the herd.
And that's it. Thin the herd. That's the message of this podcast.
Game of Thrones Season 5.
And Game of Thrones Season 5. Check it out.
If you watch it, your brain will spiral into the thoughts of the petrodollar, so be very careful.
You'll become very, very obsessed with this show, and you'll just go nuts thinking about all the different avenues and roads it could take, like the petrodollar.
Intercept.org. Intercept.org, Podbean.com. Go watch your Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Figure out what's going on with the Petrodollar so that you can not figure it out.
Stannis Baratheon for King of Westeros. There, I said it. The one true King of Westeros, people.
Number 16.
Anyone who's against it will burn.
Don't forget your tiara next time. Peace and love.